Hey, Chamber members, Alan Waters here, your Marketing and Communications Coordinator at the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce with your Words of Wisdom podcast. Today, we're going to be focusing on our case groups, as well as providing quality referrals, a comprehensive guide in the second half of the episode. As I have been the first two episodes, I'm here with Jack. Hey, Jack.
Hey, Alan. How's it going?
It's good, man. Let's go into case groups a little bit more. Last episode, we talked about case groups in a brief comparison as we went through all of Membership 101. But let's break down case groups a little bit more in depth. As I mentioned in that episode, it stands for Chamber Accelerated Sales Executives. It is meant as a way for us to come together, provide referrals to one another, have some education opportunities, as well as get to know the people in the room a little bit better. But CASE is more than that. CASE is kind of a gateway into what the Chamber has to offer and what you can get out of Chamber membership through your involvement. So Jack is sat in with a couple of our case groups right now. He is serving kind of as a pseudo Chamber representative for our Thursdays at 4 group. Tell me a little bit, Jack, about how those groups have gone, what you've seen, and what you've learned the past few weeks.
Sure. So as I've been sitting in on some of these case groups, it's really interesting to see how the different professionals that are in the room, kind of what they offer to each other and how we can all help each other's businesses grow. Back to referrals, it's when you have that personal connection with those other businesses in the area, that's just a natural thing to do, is to kind of shout them out, to get them that extra business through, your customers or your friends or whoever is around, because that's how networking goes, especially in this area, a smaller town, you could say.
What you'll see a lot, especially with early career professionals, is you don't have that network built up already. You don't necessarily have that large group. When I first moved to the New River Valley area, I looked into doing real estate. I got my real estate license and learned a little bit there. And one of the first things you really sit down and do is you break down, what is your direct network? And what does that direct network look like? And there are a lot of questions that you may not expect. For example, I had to answer, who cuts your hair? People like that you don't think about, oh, they're in my network. They're who I'm talking to on a somewhat regular basis. And they could benefit by my experience and knowledge the same way I can benefit from their experience and knowledge. And that's what Case Group really helps accelerate, is that if you're new to business, if your business is looking at something different, if your business is established and thinks it can provide educational opportunities for other businesses, this is where we come together to collaborate in that way.
So as kind of a younger person in the area, I haven't had much experience with business so far. But kind of being in these rooms and getting to know the people around here has gotten me to not only recognize the brands and logos and businesses that I see on a daily basis, but kind of get to know them. What's their personality like? What kind of things can they offer?
Right. That's a part of it. It is recognition. And that's where our referrals come in, not just on this is who I recognize, this is who I know, but think about social media. Think about some of the groups that are out there where people are constantly asking, hey, does someone know a plumber? Does someone know a photographer? What's good to eat in the area? When you have members who are active on social media that can then easily tag you or your business or say, you should check this out, you get an opportunity to not only expand your business without your direct involvement. These people are getting your name out there in front of however many people are reading through that comment section, but you also have the opportunity to find yourself and find who and what your clientele is using to find people like you. And that's the big part with any of our businesses. You have to find the marketing channels that work best for you. Not every channel is going to pan out the same exact way. And that's why we suggest when you come into our case groups, we want you to have the mindset of what can I give, not necessarily what can I take. Because if everyone goes into that room with the mindset of, okay, this is what I can offer, this is what I can give other people, we're all going to take care of one another. But if we all enter that room with, well, what can I get out of this? You don't have a room that's built around that growth and that education and actually helping the business community as a whole. Let's walk through a typical case meeting so that you know what you're expecting in that first meeting for the first time you've ever gone. In general, we like to introduce our new members at the top of each meeting if this is your first one. We don't want you to feel pressured that you have to be involved in the same way, but we also want people to know you and so you know what to expect. Then we break down into what we call our 60-second perfect referral. Some people may see this as an elevator pitch, but generally it is what is going on with your business, what's your name, where are you located, what do you want people in the room to know about your business, and then what can the people in the room do to help you. For example, if I'm the chamber member and a representative in one of these groups right now, I would say, hey, I'm Alan Waters. I work in the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. I'm your marketing and communications coordinator. We have a lot going on at the chamber. We're built around connecting and engaging others with other businesses in the community. We're in the business of helping you and teaching you how to be successful and helping facilitate that in any way. Our perfect referral for the week would be anyone that is in the community you think is deserving of an annual award nomination. These can be businesses of the year, nonprofits of the year, distinguished individuals that you think have done a lot to transform our business community and community at large. And then we would move on to the next person. We strictly stick to a 60-second rubric with this. If you're underneath, that's okay. You don't have to make 60 seconds. But we give 60 seconds as the limit because then we need to have enough time for other people in the room to do things. If we have 20 members in a group, that alone is 20 minutes right there that we just spent on our perfect referral and getting to know one another. So this is something that you want to practice. It's not something you have to have perfect. And by no means do we expect you to come to your first meeting ready to go. That's a part of it. That's a part of all of it. From there, if you are comfortable, you're able to give your perfect referral before we move on to the next section. Each group is different and has a little bit of a variation in their group structure, in their timing structure. Some groups do an educational tidbit at the beginning. Some do it at the end. Some do it in the middle. But we do usually have some kind of educational moment that is 1 to 3 minutes, 5 minutes at most, that everyone in the group can think about. It doesn't always have to be, oh, I'm learning this for the first time. It can be, I haven't thought about this in a while. Recently, we've talked about what are our core groups? Who do we get the most referrals from? And that's been something we've focused on. For this podcast, we have an educational moment that's going to be at the end, which is how do you craft that perfect quality referral to someone else, and how do you take those and what you can do to work around it? Sometimes that's what we talk about in the group. Then we trade off with presentations. Presentations are generally 10 to 15 minutes. We recommend 10 minutes for your presentation, 5 minutes for questions and follow-up. This is something about your business. It's something about you. It's something you want people in the group to know so that when they're talking to others, they can give that information. Again, I mentioned this in the Membership 101, but think about the other members in this group as your cheerleaders. What do you want those cheerleaders to know so that when they're shouting at the game, they can give out that best thing to get back to you? We want to focus on quality referrals in this. And that's how we do it, is by educating the others in the room, as well as educating ourselves. Following our presentation, we generally pass around closed business, any past leads, any one-on-one meetings that we've had, so that we know where we stand as a group and what metrics we have going into the group. Now, that's a big question. Metrics, conversion. What actually is your return on investment? I think we do a great job in each of our groups tracking this in both a financial as well as just general number, concrete way, so you can see what you're doing, what you're contributing, as well as what you ultimately are getting out of the group. Because we know, just like any other marketing initiative, you have to get your return on investment, and we want you to.
So what exactly are conversions, or what is a conversion rate, and how does that kind of play into referrals as far as the case group goes?
Great question. So that is, we will talk a little more in depth in that quality referral at the end of the episode, but a conversion is when you come into the group and you say, hey, I know so-and-so who has been looking for a new bank. They just want to change banks. Hey, bank representative for the personal checking side, would you be able to talk to this person, or could I get this person in touch with you? Then we go back and the week goes along. That person at the bank has been able to contact the individual. They've signed up a brand new checking account and are now operating through that bank. The next group, that person can say, hey, in my closed business, I had a referral last week from so-and-so, and now that resulted in closed business. That's a conversion. In general, when you're looking at any lead generated platform, whether this is through sales, it's just generating referrals, it's generating information, any lead generator has a conversion rate on the good side of about 10%. So if you call 300 people, you might expect that you'll get business from 30 of those people at your absolute best. In some industries, it's going to vary. In some industries, you can call 300 people, and if you get 3 people out of it, not 30, just 3 people, a 1% conversion, you're ecstatic, because sometimes that is what you can get at the best. 10% is, like I said, it's usually around the max. If you have a 10% conversion rate, you're doing really, really well. In some of our case groups, we've got conversion rates as high as 87%. We have one of our case groups that just recently passed 100 referrals. They had 100 referrals out to the group. They have 87 of those have led to closed business. That's what conversion is. That's those rates that we look at so that you can see what the group is doing for you. And of course, we do track that financially as well. What's the monetary value of those transactions? That again is going to vary drastically between industries. The selling price of a house is a lot different than the selling price of a photography session. But we want to look at those numbers because that's ultimately what's getting the best of the group. Another thing that happens in our tracking of not necessarily conversion, but our other metrics are our one-on-one meetings. One-on-one meetings are encouraged in all of our groups so that you can learn more about individuals in your group, learn more about their industries, and in an environment that is focused on the casual as well as focused on the personal. People do business with people, not businesses. There are a million banks in the area. I think we can all agree on that. And I think a lot of them, they're members, they're great. They each represent themselves very well. But when you have that many banks, it can be hard to choose until you break down the personal side. What personal relationship do you have with that bank? Is this someone that you've grown up with? Did you go to Sunday school with this person and now they're your banker? That's how people choose to do business. So when you get to know the people in your group and you have that personal connection, you're more likely to increase the amount of referrals you can get simply because you're at the top of their mind. And it is not just on the, oh, I know they do good work. It's, I know that they are a good person and that I'm happy to give out my business to them. That's the purpose of those one-on-ones, as well as to increase the education moments. And we keep track of those as well. At the beginning of each year, we like our groups to sit down with our current members and say, all right, group, what do we want our goals to be for this year? What is our financial goal? What's our one-to-one goal? What's our lead generation goal? So that by the end of the year, we have an actual static number to look back at and say, great, we didn't reach these goals, or we did reach these goals. What can we do next year to do better, to do different, to move forward?
So going back to that, as far as making referrals, so a lot of you may think, well, the internet's here, right? I can just go online and look at all the different businesses, in the area and see which ones are the best rated or whatever. But I don't know about you, Alan, but I do not trust internet reviews whatsoever.
And that's a good point in that, reviews can be skewed one way or the other. In general, what you're going to see on the review is the height of the height, the low of the lows, who has been angry, what is the actual mindset going behind a review? And by all means, please still do your research, do your backup, make sure you've got that information because we want you to. You can even look through our business directory and say, oh, great, here are all of the businesses. But coming to case, it's an hour commitment once a week, gives the more personal connection and gives you the community involvement and community engagement element that a lot of businesses tend to neglect. Not necessarily on purpose, but due to an amount of time. We understand time is valuable, but look at it as I'm spending 1 hour a week to get the additional research off of my plate. I'm sitting down once a week with industries that are valuable to my industry that can provide me with insight. If you walk into a group and you've got a mortgage agent doing a presentation on what the current rates are in the system, you walk away with more valuable knowledge than if you just typed into Google, hey, what are the rates? And you have to read 3 different articles to get the right answer. I'm not saying one is better than the other because the digital age has changed a lot. I'm just saying that when you've got a personal connection to an actual person, you can say, hey, I've got so and so's number. I can call them up. I can ask them. They're a professional who deals with it. They're an expert in their industry. I tend to think that's a little more trustworthy than, like you said, scrolling on Google and hoping you find the right answer. Not only the right answer, the current right answer, because a lot of these industries change not just in a matter of weeks or months, but days at a time.
Absolutely. To break it down to an even smaller example, I have people ask me, like, what's the best pizza place around here? Like, what's the best restaurant for this specific thing or this specific service in the area? Because people trust people, like you said. If someone I know tells me that this specific place is the best at what they do, or it's the place that they go to and they trust them, then I'm more likely to try that place out.
Right, exactly. And I mean, on the chamber side, we get those calls all the time. Hey, I'm new to the area. What's going on around here? And we push them to our business directories and things like that. So that helps when we've got a more personal experience because as chamber members, we're going to stay impartial. We want all of our businesses to succeed. And so we're going to pass people along to every single one of our businesses. But when you break down into case groups, you've got people who are a little bit more fine-tuned and are patronizing your business on a regular basis. You've got people in that are actually learning more about you, and so they're becoming additional experts on your business. That's what you want. If you've got a sales force that, and I don't mean you don't pay your salespeople, but if you've got a sales force that works for free, we're going to take it every day of the week. Why wouldn't we? In the back half of this episode, we're going to talk about how to present a quality referral. It's a complete comprehensive guide. We're going to go through step by step and talk about the best tips and tricks to make sure that when you're in groups like this, you're actually passing along good information that lead to those high conversion rates. Chamber members, do you want to be featured on this podcast? Well, this is your opportunity. As sponsors for our podcast, you are featured in that first 15 minutes where we're going to talk about you, your business, what success means to you, what you think success means to the world, and in your industry, how can you be successful? All of these things we'll be talking about with you as your sponsorship, and then we will have an ad just like this placed specifically for you. We can record it. It can be a live read by myself, or if you already have something for your business that you want played, we can put it here. The rule is it's got to be 60 seconds or under, and we're ready to go. So members, if you want to be a part of that, this could be you, and we look forward to talking more about it. Make sure to reach out for more information at marketing@montgomerycc.org. That's marketing@montgomerycc.org. Back to the episode. All right, welcome back to the second half of our Words of Wisdom podcast on case groups and quality referrals. Let's first talk about the difference between a hot and a cold referral. Jack, do you know what a hot versus a cold referral means?
No, but I'm guessing it's not due to the temperature.
It's not due to the temperature, exactly. So a cold referral is if you walk in and you hear someone say, hey, I need a new mortgage lender. And you go, I know a person, and you just send them that way. It is the equivalent of a cold call. It's not giving any further information. It's not making sure that when they actually talk, they know what they're looking out for from one another. That's what we call a cold lead, a cold referral. It's something that we don't have any more information other than what's at the surface level. When you get to a hot referral, a hot lead, that means that there has been information passed. You're sitting in that group, someone says, I'm looking for a new mortgage lender. And you say, great, I know of a mortgage lender. I'll reach out to them, let them know that you're going to be in contact. Or if you're okay with it, I'll pass along your contact information so they can reach out. And that way we know exactly what we're looking into, what we're getting out of. Then when you come to that case group and you say, hey, so-and-so is looking for a mortgage lender. Here's their name, their number, information, and the services they're looking for. You're much more likely to close that referral, make that an actual lead that turns into a conversion of closed business than you are with the first one. And it's because you've done the legwork, you've had a referral partner do the legwork to get that information to the next point. That's also called providing a quality referral. A quality referral is going to be a hot referral, a hot lead. And there are multiple ways you can do that. First, Know your network. When you're in a case group, that's pretty easy, right? Your network is the people in that group around you. If you know someone that is looking for cars and you've got a car salesman in your case group, guess what? Easy peasy, right there. But outside of that, know your network at home. Like I opened this episode talking about, who cuts your hair? Where do you go when you need your tires changed? When you're out on the golf course, who's regularly playing with you? Those things of who is regularly around you and in your life. From there, make sure that you're building strong relationships. Go to ribbon cuttings, go to case, make sure that the relationship there is built on mutual trust. I understand if you've got someone brand new and you can't trust that they're going to take care of a client, why would you ever reach out further? Why would you give business that way? People do business with people. And that's how you do that, is you build the relationships. You make sure the people in the room trust you and you can trust them. Understanding the needs. As I mentioned earlier, when someone's engaged and they're informed, they know what people want and they can pass along the information of, hey, this person has 3 cars. They're looking for an insurance rate for all 3 of them. This car, they're not planning to do anything really high. That's all information that now, as a lead generator, as someone reaching out, you've got the first few steps underway. You're one step closer to closing that deal simply because the information is there and the person giving a referral understood your needs, understood the needs of the person they were referring. Be honest, be transparent. Make sure that if you're giving a referral to someone, if it's your brother and you say, hey, look, my brother's looking for a caterer for his wedding, I need a referral for that. When you're going and passing that referral to a caterer, say, hey, it's so-and-so's brother. The personal relationship doesn't necessarily matter, but it keeps everything ethical and above board. And so no one's cutting a deal because of this person or in the spite of this person. It's making sure that we're being honest and transparent. And if you have that integrity, that's where that trust steps in and you're one step closer. Make personal introductions. Hi, my name is Alan Waters. I'm the Marketing and Communications Coordinator at the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. That gave my information who I am. It tells you what my position is. It tells you where I work. It gives you all the information and it's personable. Making sure you ask someone, hey, how are you doing? And actually wanting to get the answer, not, hey, how is it? And then keep moving. At that point, did you really want to know how it was? And trust me, I get it. There's some days before I've had my coffee. I don't want to tell you how it is either, because I think the answer for all of us is, I haven't had my coffee. It sucks. That's okay. We get that. Those things happen. But in general, make sure that you're giving out the information, you're being personable, you're being nice so that people want to approach you. People want to ask you for a referral. Provide context. Again, that's where you're looking at that information about what's going on. What's the situation around it? Are they moving to the area next month? Are they moving to the area in a year? That impacts timelines when you're giving referrals. And that helps get to close business as well. Follow up. You've given the referral. You've passed it along to your insurance provider. A week has gone by. You're not sure what's happened. And so follow up with both parties and say, hey, how did this go? Did I give you to the right person? Did I give you the right information? Is it closed? If not, is there anything I could have done different that would have helped? Again, there's nothing wrong with finding a moment and not getting it to a closed situation. You learn just as much through that as you do by closing business. Be open to learn and grow with that. Respect privacy. This goes hand in hand with some of the things earlier. Once you've done a follow-up, you don't need 6 follow-ups. 1 follow-up is okay. You don't want to bombard people. You don't want to be spammy. So make sure you're protecting privacy. You're not doing anything that's unethical, and you're being honest and transparent. And finally, stay open to receiving those referrals as well. Not all referrals will lead to a closed business, but if you're open and you're honest and that communication is a 2-way street, you're more likely to get where you're going than if you're both trying to travel down a 1-way street going opposite directions. Remember, providing quality referrals is an art, and it requires a combination of understanding, empathy, and authenticity. By leveraging your network to connect individuals with complementary goals and strengths, you contribute to a positive cycle of growth and collaboration. Remember, everyone, go out, connect, engage, and prosper.